Welcome to this video on academic integrity and plagiarism at Elizabethtown College. I'm the Instruction and Outreach Librarian, Josh Cohen, and I'm going to review some key concepts around this topic that are important for your academic success at the college. Over the course of two videos, I'll be covering the following subjects: defining academic integrity and plagiarism, citing sources, quoting and paraphrasing sources, self-plagiarism, and AI chatbots and academic integrity. First, I want to define academic integrity and plagiarism. Most students understand that cheating on exams or assignments is a violation of academic integrity, and when you take the Blue Jay Pledge, you're committing to honestly representing your coursework as your own while giving proper credit to the work of others in your academic projects, exams, etc. Now, scholarship always involves building off of the ideas of other people or being in conversation with other scholars, but when someone tries to claim someone else's ideas as their own or simply fails to cite the work of others, this is plagiarism. Often students don't intend to plagiarize, which is called unintentional plagiarism, and unintentional plagiarism is still a violation of academic integrity. And on the next slide, I will talk a little bit more about unintentional plagiarism. But whether it's intentional or not, it is always unethical to plagiarize, and the consequences could be quite serious. They can include failing an assignment, failing a course, or even having to appear before the academic standing committee, which would evaluate the penalty for violation of our academic code of conduct. Depending on the circumstances, penalties could result in suspension or even dismissal from the college. So it's really important to understand what plagiarism is and how to avoid it. So the differences between intentional and unintentional plagiarism. Intentional plagiarism is when you intentionally copy someone else's words or ideas without providing credit and passing them off as your own. Examples of unintended plagiarism can be things like restating someone else's words and failing to put them in quotes, forgetting to cite someone else's work in your own work, or attempting to paraphrase someone else's work but still copying their sentence structure while changing only a few words. So while copying and pasting someone else's work and claiming it as your own is pretty clear, unintentional plagiarism tends to be a little more subtle and is likely more common. So the second example here of unintentional plagiarism is usually due to when students are kind of disorganized in their research. They may forget where an idea came from, but they still want to include it in their paper. In that last example, you might cite the original author, but if you aren't properly paraphrasing and you're using the sentence structure of the original author, then you should probably just be quoting that original text to avoid plagiarism. So what do you need to cite in your work? Anything that is not your own. And this could be something obvious, like a quotation from an article, but it could also be an image you find online, a website, a tweet, a video, music, anything you use in a project that is not your original work. Here we see a tweet from Elizabethtown College, and I also have the APA citation for this tweet if I wanted to quote from it in an APA paper, for example. So what is the best way to put together your citations? Well, you can start to save bibliographic information by using our library databases, almost all of which provide easy-to-copy citations. Just keep in mind that you will almost always have to make corrections to any citations that are computer-generated. Looking at this citation provided by our Academic Search Ultimate database, I can see that the article title for the provided APA citation is incorrect because it should not capitalize every word. But otherwise, the citation looks pretty good. Also, you should always double-check your citations for your reference list using sources like the Pocket Style Manual or a specific style manual like the one pictured here from APA. We have print copies of all the major manuals at our reference desk, and we have online manuals as well for some style guides like Chicago, MLA, and some others that you'll find in our database list. APA also provides citation information on their website, and you can also consult the Al Purdue Online Writing Lab website for more obscure source citations. These manual and style guides are also very helpful for style rules around writing papers, so you probably want to have a copy of whichever style guide is used most often for your major. So when don't you need to cite? Well, of course, when you are sharing your own thoughts and using your own original language, but you are also not required to provide a citation for what is considered, quote, common knowledge. Common knowledge does not necessarily mean that the knowledge is widely known. It would be better described as a basic fact. So things like dates, where someone was born, the capital of Pennsylvania, these are all considered common knowledge, even if you aren't sure what the capital of Pennsylvania is. And here's another example. That Martin Luther King Jr. wrote and delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech is also a basic fact. So are the facts that King delivered the speech at the March on Washington in 1963. Even if you had to look these facts up in an online encyclopedia from the library or from Wikipedia, you still wouldn't have to cite them because these are commonly known facts. However, if you're uncertain if information is common knowledge, it's usually best to err on the side of caution and use a citation.